Let's talk vigilantism. What we're discovering is that vigilantism is really big business when it focuses on where the crimes are least, but give the most bang for the buck with public approbation, excitement, exciting the senses of people who are full of fear or full of revenge. And that would be sex stings, human trafficking, anything that has the word sex, child, and online, and predator. Don't forget that. They are there and they are interested in developing some real street cred. I don't know if these vigilantes are trying to get a TNT special, very much like Sosa did in Rue Powell or some other groups, but what they seek to do is obviously get fame and fortune, and finding children is secondary. Of course, it doesn't seem like it. It seems very, very cynical that somebody would have that viewpoint, but that's exactly what seems to be happening. So, for example, why aren't the vigilantes going after people who are, let's say, involved in auto thefts? Well, a recent report came out from the FBI saying auto thefts are down by something like 18%. Because police have been focusing on it, but still very much out of control. It seems to me vigilantes could be a great help to police, but of course that's not really sexy, is it? What about the people who go into our grocery stores, steal things, look at the clerk, and run out or even walk out without being arrested because it just takes too much energy, legal wherewithal, and possible litigation if the actual criminal gets hurt? How come we don't have vigilantes working that angle? Well, they don't work that angle because, of course, it's not very sexy to work that angle. If you pardon the term, sex is what it's about, and not necessarily catching the pred. You know, there's a video I'm going to post down below here which shows a diminutive female police sheriff standing idly by, almost meekly, while a big hulking predator catchers, I'm trying to remember, I nearly said Arizona, but some predator catcher group guy is standing there confronting somebody, and this person seems willing to talk. He's been accused of going after a young child, I think it was a 10-year-old girl, and meeting her in a parking lot. And you should never talk to the vigilantes, much less the cops. So bear that in mind too, whether you're guilty or whether you're very, very innocent. Because the vigilantes are not innocent. When they're going after these taking the law into their own hand type of activities, they are endangering themselves, they're endangering other people, and they're putting the entire case at risk, because it can look like a confession is coerced, it can look like fear-mongering and intimidation. But what it never is, as with Ghost CC Unit and other people, it's never a case where they're actually interested in children. How do we know that? Well, for one thing, again, they go on Joe Rogan's podcast, as Ghost has done, and others, and they talk exclusively about the hunt. They talk about the hunt, they talk about laying the trap, they talk about how stupid people are that they fall into the trap, they talk about what horrible people they are, but almost nothing about the backstories of the children or the families or where they come from, because that is a secondary characteristic. Furthermore, they have on their sites very often various opportunities to get paid. So when I was on Arizona Predator Prevention, of course, what were they doing? They had these nimrods who were trolls beyond the gates, you know, salivating and gnashing their teeth and foaming at the mouth trying to get at me. And I was engaging them as much as I was engaging my hosts. I put that in air quotes. And yet you had two people who paid $2. I think maybe one paid $3 to have me stand up to see if one of them wanted to know if I was masturbating. I wasn't. The other one wanted to know if I had pants on. I did have pants on. So, I mean, these are the people who are the real perverts out there, okay? That's not to say people don't harm children, but if vigilantes really want to be helpful, they could do a neighborhood watch. They could help man phone lines at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. How about going into neighborhoods that are at risk and offering to tutor or babysit so that a mother can go and work, a single mom or something who may not be home? That would be useful stuff that they could do, instead of putting everybody else at risk because of their own desire for fame and fortune. And then, of course, they're behind paywalls, aren't they? Like Zaid CC Unit and others. You have to pay to get their great content. And then they have further sites on Rumble and on Discord where they have yours truly among others whom they mock and they make fun of, and they show a heavily edited video which they claim is not heavily edited, but everybody I've had look at it, including the prosecution who was against me, said it's heavily edited. You know, the part where these vigilantes look bad, where they look guilty, where they look culpable, that never shows up. So if they really want to do something, what they could do is actually help children instead of making them a secondary consideration at best, or in the real world of what they actually do, they're hardly ever mentioned, these poor children.